Good morning and welcome to Speed Dota. My name's Spode and today we'll be going a little bit slower than usual. It's a little early in the morning for me, so forgive me if it takes me a minute to get back up to speed. Today we'll be talking once again about Faceless Void and his Chronosphere. Previously we've talked about team follow-up and making sure that your team can effectively follow up on your Chronosphere to ensure kills. And then we talked about farm consolidation, how you can secure your own farm when Chronosphere is off cooldown. Today we'll be talking about patience during team fights, and how to effectively actually use your Chronosphere. Chronosphere is a bit of a unique skill in the game, because it can just as easily screw over your opponents as well as your allies. If you interrupt your allies' initiation, for example, that can hurt your team quite badly. And it can also allow the enemy to follow up your initiation with their own and win the team fight. The only other skill I can think of that operates similarly is Naga Siren's Song of the Siren. In this case, Chronosphere. Don't interrupt your teammates. Try not to screw them over with your initiation. But patience is a little bit more important than that. The very first thing we'll be talking about is how you can effectively use your Chronosphere as a threat in a team fight. Because just the looming thought of a Chronosphere can help your team secure the victory. And with that, we'll head into the game. So, here you can see, this is the game from the previous show that talked about farm consolidation. Here you can see, this is the Dyer's view. Faceless Void is close to his team, Nyx Assassin and Ricky are at the front lines, Rubik's pretty close, getting attacked by the Invoker, and Shadow Fiend is within striking distance. In this case, you're going to see the Nyx Assassin dart forward, look for a kill on the Tiny, but Mirana's really fast on her ulti, and she manages to catch the Nyx Assassin with the good arrow. As the Faceless Void in this case, you need to be thinking, okay, can I help this Nyx Assassin? If I land a good Chronosphere, will I be able to save his life? Will I be able to secure kills on the back end? What does my team have to follow up? And you'll notice Shadow Fiend's no longer within striking distance. So if Faceless Void immediately blinks Chronospheres, it's not going to be very effective. Ricky's close, Rubik's close, but neither one of those heroes are particularly effective in Chronosphere. Nyx Assassin has been stunned, so he's not going to be of any use either. So, Faceless Void wisely decides to back off. Now, why is this really important? Well, first, you didn't feed any more than one kill. You didn't have Save Your Friend syndrome. Secondly, Faceless Void now can use his time to farm a little bit more effectively. And, more importantly, he can use his Chronosphere as a threat instead of just having blown it a minute ago. So, Faceless Void feels very safe in going and bullying this Keeper of the Light. Shadow Fiend's close by, and they maybe could have gotten a kill if they'd used Chronosphere. However, if they'd done that, maybe there would have been an Invoker follow-up, or a Mirana follow-up. Undying's definitely close enough that he could probably save the Keeper of the Light regardless. But because he didn't commit the Chronosphere, he's still able to continue using his abilities to threaten the enemy. And since Chronosphere is still up, the Radiant doesn't feel safe to go outside of their base, which buys time for the Nyx Assassin to come back, which buys time for the Rubik to come back. Don't know why it says it's there. And Faceless Void and Shadow Fiend can just continue farming. Shadow Fiend's able to get away safely. They're slowly starving out the enemy. Why is this possible? Chronosphere is available. Chronosphere can be used as a threat to allow your team to farm out the enemy jungle and slowly starve out the enemy. And you can see, this is very, very frustrating for the Radiant, because it feels like they can't effectively deal with this. They can't effectively farm out their own jungle, they can't increase their own farm, and you'll notice the net worth is starting to tip very heavily in the Dyer's favor. All the while, Faceless Void is close enough to Chronosphere in case his team gets into trouble. And this is where we're going to see Farming at the enemy jungle when you're on the aggressive side, when you have Chronosphere up, is a very, very good way of asserting your dominance over the enemy team. So, what we're going to see here, Ricky is going to go on the Invoker because Invoker threatened his Nyx Assassin, who just got a ward up. This ward gives us some really good vision of what's going on around us. We can see the Tiny, we can see the Mirana, we can see the Invoker, and down south we can just barely see the Undying. We don't know where the Coddle is, but it's probably safe to assume that he's pretty close because we're so close to the Radiant base. Faceless Void is in striking distance, Shadow Fiend's within striking distance, Nyx Assassin's getting gone on, but Ricky's able to save him because Ricky can use Smoke Cloud, and none of the rest of the Radiant can effectively attack the Nyx Assassin. So, we're going to see an excellent example of patience. The Radiant loses patience. Tiny goes on the Ricky, but he can't quite kill the Ricky. Faceless Void sees, okay, Invoker's here, Mirana's here, we see the Coddle, we see Tiny, we might be able to get a 2 or 3 man Chronosphere and secure a good team fight. But instead of doing that, he blinks in and notices Shadow Fiend is beginning to use his ult. Well, this ult is close enough to the Invoker that he might just be able to kill the Invoker. And if Chronosphere was used here, it would interrupt the Shadow Fiend's ult, thereby screwing over their initiation, even though it seems like it'd be a good initiation. Because of the Chronosphere. However, Tiny would get away. You probably wouldn't be able to catch the Coddle, Undying is off to the side. It could end very, very poorly for the Dire. Instead, Faceless Void cancels the animation for his Chronosphere, allowing Shadow Fiend to get off his animation, killing the Invoker. Mirana jumps back in, they kill the Mirana very, very easily and quickly, and now Faceless Void thinks, huh, I still have Chronosphere up, we can probably threaten high ground, and I see 2 heroes that are pretty close, and are pretty close together. I can Chronosphere them. And he does exactly that, gets a brilliant Chronosphere, and allows his team to push racks, securing an additional 2 kills in the process. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see. The next video will probably be featuring my own play on Faceless Void, using the lessons we've learned thus far.